drivers, have you considered the design and the materials that go into our food delivery bags? They make a massive difference in how they're able to protect the contents. Now, the common bags on Amazon and even from the main food delivery companies like UberEats, Grubhub, DoorDash, Instacart, they don't do a good job of protecting food like the upright bag does. And I'm going to show you this. To be more clear, if you damage the food, it will affect our earnings. Eventually, we're going to get deactivated, and the customer, they will take away your tip or they're going to reduce it. And to make it worse, they're going to rate you poorly in the app. To prevent all these mishaps, use the upright bag, and that's going to keep all our deliveries in the best shape possible. These are bold but true claims. I'm going to show you the function, the construction of the bag, and how it's different from all other food delivery bags. Protecting drinks, that's going to be the true test of this bag. And I've got obviously this one, as well as a few cups down there and some trays. So we're going to test that with some water and a little bit. Drive around, obviously normal driving conditions as a food delivery driver. And I'll film it with my other camera and let's see how that turns out. And I do want to mention this up front. The Upright Bag team sent me this bag to review for you. And when you buy one, I do get a small proceed from the sale. So thank you in advance for that. You are going to love yours as well. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I always tell the truth, and the whole point of my channel is to help you, my fellow food delivery drivers, do better and thrive. That way you don't have to learn lessons the hard way. And in light of truthfulness and honesty, I've got two things that in the beginning I did not like about this bag. But after using it for a couple months, I've reconsidered how I look at those 2 points. So I will go over that as well. So I've been using this bag for 2 months now. And again, I've been doing food delivery part-time for 7 years, going on 8 years now. So I've got a lot of experience. I've been using this bag for 2 months, and it is different than any other bag that you're used to. The main thing, and I'll show you this now, this bag folds differently. Look at this. And you can see that horizontally, this is a firm surface. This is a firm surface. And then inside the bottom is solid. If you look at any of our other food delivery bags, like this Grubhub one, the heavy duty one, I love this. But as you know, as drivers, you should always cut out some cardboard because in the bag, it just smashes up. There's no firmness to it. So you can see that. And hopefully you already know that tip of using a cardboard insert. So the difference with this bag, it makes a firm foundation. You don't need a cardboard insert because of how it folds. The bottom becomes a strong base. And then also the lid, it's firm as well. And what's kind of nice is sometimes I'll put my cell phone on here, so when I'm delivering orders, I'll loop the strap through my arm, and that I can hold on to any trays of drinks, and then sometimes I'll just put my phone there as I'm walking. So you can see this is a strong construction. It's almost like a building block. See how stable and strong that is? It is not flimsy like another bag. And we'll get into some details of the other bags here in a little bit. And then also looking at the bottom, listen. You hear that sound? It's a bunch of plastic pellets in here. And what they're designed to do is whether you have them in your seat or on the floor, it helps with the stability of the order inside. As we're stopping, turning, you can hear that those would then shift to give further stability to this bag. Another huge bonus, no other food delivery company does this. I've seen one catering company that does this. There are no zippers. This is so nice. Look at this. Velcro. The upright bag, they've used Velcro up here. This is so good. And again, I've been using it for 2 months, so you can get away with just using the front one. And that way you leave a little gap for any French fries or other foods that need to vent. And then obviously if you were doing cold things like ice cream, then you just seal it up on all three sides. This is a sturdy bag. I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can see that from the camera. It's solid, and it's obviously insulated inside. So you can see it's insulated. The bottom is firm. All right, I think you get the idea on that. See how it folds differently? In fact, in the comments right now, please share if you value using a hot bag. And then also let me know, what do you think of that idea of the Velcro? How do you think that compares to using the normal zipper? Thank you for doing that. All the drivers who see that are going to benefit and get an idea. If the other companies, they should have already gone to a Velcro enclosure a long time ago. Again, one catering company, they do that on the big catering bag, and I love it. So the team at Upright Bag, good job. This is a very great innovation that's very helpful and easy. So up next, actually using the bag is so easy. I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I'll show a variety of pictures of me at the various drop-offs. So when it is open, you just open it up and you place the order inside. You can see there's room for the food. And then even if you had a drink carrier for drinks, or if you had a massive thing of food in there, obviously that would take up the whole thing. Flip over the Velcro. You could do all three sides if you want. And then use the straps and take it and finish the delivery. So overall, it's been very easy to use. And I'm looking forward to this part coming up when we're going to test the drinks. Oh, and I do want to mention, let's say you have, you'll see a few of the pictures like that. If you have an order, like let's say that this is a bag of groceries for a food delivery order, pretty much you can just fold the top over and seal it that way. So that's pretty easy to do. All right, next, we're going to take this bag out on the road for some real life driving examples and put that claim to the test of how stable the drinks are inside of here. And again, I'm just going to do normal food delivery driving. And I trust right now, before you're even using the bag, I would trust, do not trust food delivery bags. I don't. I always keep my drinks in the drink holders of my car. So I've got 2 big ones back there, 2 up front. And then in my trunk, I have a drink carrier, a Rubbermaid thing. So I'll use that when I have a ton of drinks. So this is huge. For me to have tested this already and trust it, that says a lot. In fact, I had this really high-paying order. It was a Grubhub order, and it was 2 lattes from Starbucks. And you know, at Starbucks, they put that little tiny drink carrier in the bag. I never, ever trust that. I don't even put that in the bag. I'll set it right here in my seat, and while I'm driving, I hold the handle of that bag to keep the drinks from spilling, because many times with Starbucks orders, the coffee will leak out and then you'll get the soggy bag. So 1 delivery, and they were tipping me well, so you know what I'm risking. I tested it in this bag and it did fine. So you can enjoy those screenshots of me with that wafer and then dropping it off as well. So I'm looking forward to now starting to fill up these cups with water and have some drink trays. And again, we're going to do normal driving. Now, I will be a little bit more aggressive to see how it handles corners and should there be any speed bumps. So I think we're all going to find that to be very insightful. All right, here we go. I've got a giant jug of water and then a variety of cups. Let's go out. I'm going to fill them up right now. And then I'll do 1 take of it with the bag here on my floor. And this camera's a little challenging to use, so I'm going to use my Osmo action camera, and I can hold it and film as I'm driving, so you'll get to see that. Then we'll do another test here in the seat. So let's go out there and fill up some cups. And again, keep in mind, we're not going to go crazy when we're out driving, because you would never, ever do that as a food delivery driver. That reminds me, one time I usually would keep the frozen drinks on my seat, and I wasn't paying attention. I almost missed my turn. And so I slammed on the brakes, and that frozen drink flew off my seat onto the floor. And thankfully, since it was frozen, it didn't spill. And it wasn't damaged, so the customer actually didn't know. But if I had had a bag like the upright bag, that would have never happened. So that's why I say when I have drinks in my seat, I hold on to them. I never, ever trust them to be in a food delivery bag. All right, here's a nice coffee from Carl's Jr. Or I guess it's Hardee's in your area, maybe. That lid's a little broken, but it'll be okay. See, that lid is cracked already, so that'll be a good test for that. And then we have this nice cup from Pete's Coffee. All right, so just like in the restaurant, and I've made other videos on this. Before the upright bag, I don't trust using the drink carrier. So I would take the drinks out, put them in my car, and then when I'm done, I would put them back in the drink carrier, supporting them on the roof the whole time. This will be a good one. I would never trust drinks in a food delivery bag, so. All right, how about at this next stop sign, I will stop a little faster than normal. Haha, all right, let's test it further. I'm gonna stop even faster. We're turning side to side, as you can tell. That's holding up. Again, I never drive like this with any drinks in the car. And then obviously the inside of the upright bag is sealed. And so I'm sure that helps with cleaning. All right, here's a good stop. Wow. I would never stop like that. And if I did, I would fully expect drinks to go flying. That was something. And you can see the drink going back when I'm accelerating, and I'm sure it comes forward when I'm stopping really fast. Huh. All right, we'll do another stop. Do you see that? It slid forward a little bit, the whole tray, but nothing flew out. So that would have actually been fine. And I do not stop abruptly like that. That would be trying to avoid an accident, because obviously as drivers, we're always very careful and safe when we drive. Because I'm sure you realize that if we were to get a ticket, that just ruins all of our earnings for that day. So it's never worth it to not follow the speed limit and all the traffic laws. All right, a little sharp turn there. All right, this is a fun test. I'm gonna park and let's put it in the seat. I'm sure you noticed that sharp right turn parking. Again, I'm sure none of us would drive like that. So the drinks are holding up. This is good. All right, let's put it up on the seat. Yeah, because otherwise it would come out. So I'm going to just carefully lift out the drink tray. And then I'm going to put this in the seat. Now it is angled back. And then I'll just set the drinks in there, just like I did before. I can see already, you can see the drink is leaning back, so that's interesting. We're just going to do the test. That is definitely at an angle that's further back, so if there were going to be any spills, it would be now. I think if they haven't spilled yet without the lid on, the lid would only make it stronger. And you can see just from gravity, you can see how the drinks are tilted backwards. I'll stop. There's a stop sign right here. So you can see that water splash in there. So I could see it would be good to put something under the bag to keep the drinks level, but obviously you don't have to, as long as the restaurant, or in certain cases where they want the driver to fill up the drinks, just don't fill them up all the way. Another stop. I can see the water splash out of the top of that coffee cup, but I'm stopping very aggressively. Turn right here. That was a little bit of an aggressive turn. As food delivery drivers, we would never do that. A left turn. Wow. If you are driving like that with drinks in your car, you should not be a food delivery driver. Huh. I don't see any wet cardboard, so this is holding up. But I trust that this is good enough to show with that, those really aggressive turns and then stopping so quickly. I think you would get the idea. Alrighty, let's check this out. So, I do not see any water that spilled. Good job, upright bag. This is good. And when it was on the floor, it was just the one drink tray sliding forward. All right, this is interesting. So what did you think of that driving test? I was impressed. I already took the drinks out, and in the corner here, you probably can't see it, there is one drop of water. And I think that was from, I'm going to make a mess of this. That was from one of the water cups that has a hole in it already at the top. Or it could have been the coffee. See, because this is a used drink. Or it came out, because you can see the water here on top of this coffee cup. The Carl's Jr. one. So 1 or 2 drops of water came out. But again, no one's going to be driving like what I just did. Nobody would ever do that with any kind of drink. Never. You would never take curves like that or stop that suddenly. Obviously, for an accident avoidance, yes. But overall, I am very impressed with this bag. And I can tell just from doing that driving test, I think it's better to leave this bag on the floor where it's level, because you could see the water level come back when it was here in the chair. So, but obviously it protected the drinks, even at that, I don't know, say, what is that, a 20-degree angle? I could see it's probably better to leave it on the floor. Or if you're going to use it in your seat, kind of like I do now with my food delivery bags, if you have a little towel, you could put that there and make it level. But obviously the bag protected those drinks very well. And do you notice I did not put the lid on, which would make it even stronger and more rigid, because otherwise you wouldn't see the filming going on. So I could see with great confidence, you can put the lid on this and have the drinks in there and not even worry about it. So this gets into, there are 2 things that I absolutely did not like whatsoever. So how's that for some honesty? But after using the bags for 2 months now, these 2 items, you know how we can rephrase something to see the positive in it. And I have found the positive in it. And I want to share that with you so that you can see it as a benefit. Overall, otherwise I really can't think of any truly negative thing about this. So let's get into those 2 things. The very first thing is the weight. This bag is heavy compared to the other food delivery bags, and I'll go through some of the details of that. So overall, carrying this bag around, if you just pick it up and don't hold another bag, you're not going to really notice anything. I did notice it is heavier, but obviously I'm reviewing this for you so you can see if you want to buy it. As I was using it the last 2 months, I actually did not pay attention to the weight anymore because it wasn't that big a deal. And if you think about it, people like to pay money to belong to a gym to exercise. Well, here's some free exercise for you. It actually adds a little bit of resistance to you. So when we're walking and moving, we're burning more calories. So that's a huge positive. And overall, I don't pay attention to it. I don't notice the weight difference. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you. If you look at different bags like this Grubhub bag, I personally like the heavy duty Grubhub bag because it's got strong material and it's thick, kind of like the upright bag, but there's no firmness to it. That bag has, I don't know what's inside, but it's something that makes it firm. So this Grubhub bag, empty, it weighs 1.35 ounces. When you add in 3 ounces for this cardboard, 3 ounces, 1.35. So that comes out to 1.25 pounds. So 1.25. So again, before the upright bag, I prefer this. I obviously pay for it using my own money because it's much heavier duty than the free Grubhub bag that comes in. So I don't mean to always be negative on UberEats. This is as light as air. This UberEats bag weighs 9.8 ounces. And look how flimsy it is. Sure, it protects. It still has a foil lining, but it's not very thick. The Grubhub one, I didn't measure it, but let's just say the Grubhub is twice as thick. This is nothing. Obviously, it's going to protect your food better than not using one. But compared to this other bag, 9.8 ounces compared to 1.25 pounds. I think you can see the difference there. And then I mentioned the Amazon bags. I got this off Amazon years ago. It's obviously a big one, a long one here. This aftermarket bag from Amazon, look how big this is. It weighs the same as the UberEats bag. Isn't that something? So you know it's really thin. And yes, it's better than not using one. And then again, I have my big cardboard insert in here to have a firm bottom. So this is a really lightweight bag. And yes, it insulates, but nothing like the Grubhub bag. And then as we're about to get into, nothing like the upright bag. Now, brace yourself. This weighs almost 3 pounds. It's 2 pounds and 15 ounces. So the Grubhub is 1.25 pounds. So double that would be 2.5. And this is almost 3. But again, from exercising and walking, a 0.5 pound of difference isn't that much. But initially, when you buy this bag, if you pay attention, it is heavier. And that's because of the construction. You've got the firmness, you have the insulation inside. And then a huge bonus, it comes with the hard surface as the floor, so you don't have to put cardboard in it. And then you have that system in the bottom mentioning the I'm assuming plastic pellets that help provide stability when driving. So overall, I don't notice the weight anymore. It's really not that big a deal. And even if I had 2 of these carrying them, it's no big deal. And you can always think of it as It's good exercise for free. Every driver is different with different abilities. So if this happens to be too heavy for you, I'm sure you could always just leave it in your car. And that way, when you get the order from the restaurant, put it in the upright bag. And then hopefully, please, as much as possible, the customer, they never see when we work. If they're going to see us, it's when we come up to their door. So please, drivers, all drivers, please carry your upright bag with the order inside up to the door. That gives a great first and only impression with the customer that you care about their food. Always take your food delivery bag to the door. You saw that demonstration of driving with those drinks. I don't drive like that normally. Obviously, if you have to stop that quickly in emergency, then yes, the drinks didn't spill. So right there, think of the value. If that wasn't water, if those were a bunch of gourmet coffees and frozen drinks, what would that be? Maybe $40 worth of drinks, and it didn't spill. So you're investing when you're buying the upright bag. And speaking of an investment, the second thing that I really didn't care for at first was the price of this bag. So it lists at $40, and obviously on the website, I think right now they have a 20% discount. But in general, let's just use $40. So again, I value this Grubhub bag. They are $20 each. So it's pretty much double the cost of the Grubhub bag. But when you consider what you get for this bag, how much do you value your livelihood as an independent contractor? If we're out working for different companies, we want to do our very best to protect all of our deliveries. So wouldn't it be worth it? Let's say buy 10 of these at $40 each. If it would guarantee your business to remain viable and that you wouldn't be damaging anything. That's an investment in yourself, especially as an independent contractor. So don't think of, yes, gas prices are high, maintenance prices on your car are high. There's always expenses, but as an independent contractor, you want to only take profitable orders. Therefore, you're making money. And just like my vehicle is sort of an investment, obviously it depreciates, but all of our food equipment, that's an investment in our business. And that's so important. So that phrase, you get what you pay for, I can easily see the quality difference in the upright bag just from being here handling it and using it for 2 months. That's how I have my favorite Grubhub bag until the upright bag, because it's valuable and it's protecting my business. So put it this way. What is it worth to you to avoid risking your job? You know, I mentioned if you do a poor job, if you spill someone's soup, you know, like Chinese food, if you spill something that's liquid or a soup or a bunch of drinks, what is it worth to you? Otherwise, you're risking deactivation. How many food delivery orders could we destroy as a driver before the app would just kick us off? Not many. So if you're not using a food delivery bag, that's a whole nother issue because you're actually not caring about the customer. If you're using flimsy Amazon ones or the ones that come with the food delivery apps like DoorDash, at least you're doing something to protect the food. But as an independent contractor, don't you want to do your best? That's why I say this, I changed my perspective. It seemed like a lot of money, but actually for the value that you're getting out of it to protect your income as a food delivery driver, that's nothing. That's a good investment. And just like you get what you pay for, this is quality material. It's not going to break and get destroyed in 1 month like a cheapo DoorDash bag. This is quality and it's going to last you for years. Now, naturally, the company, if you think about why would this be so much money? Well, the upright bag is a small business. So they're not a massive company that can't give you these huge volume discounts. So we're actually in on the ground floor of them building the company. So you're getting quality materials. That costs money. It's worth to pay for quality materials. And then the stability in it, that's an investment. I absolutely see the upright bag as a valuable piece of equipment, and I recommend that you get one today. And if you do, thank you. Obviously, that small commission that I get from that, thank you for doing that. And I think from you using this bag, you're also going to enjoy it. So I already hinted at profitable orders. If you only put profitable orders in here, then your business is going to thrive. You can have all the great equipment in the world, but if you don't know how to manage your business, you're going to go out of business. So have you ever wondered, how do you know what is a profitable order? Do you just take every order that comes through on UberEats or the other apps? No. I've got good news for you. I've made a video teaching you how to do food delivery profitably and safely. And there's definite value in that. So while you're picking up your upright bag, thank you for doing that. And watch that video next, and I'll see you there.